Welcome back into this week's edition of Maverick Insider. I'm Haley McCormick, joined alongside MSU head baseball coach Matt Maugers. Coach, your team has had a pretty successful season this year with only 5 losses. What's kind of been the difference from last season now to this season?
Well, I think it's not one answer. I think it's a multitude of different areas. Number one, I think it's the experience. A lot of our players that are back this year are a year older and they're better. And then at the same time, we've added a lot of pieces through the transfer portal or just junior college transfers. And then we also have a couple freshmen that are adding to the pieces along the way. So looking at our team this year, it's been fun as we're just older. I think our average age of guys is 21 and a half years old. So that speaks a lot to the adversity that they maybe had on the field and just how they handle their business.
What has been the key to consistency for this team? You guys are putting up a lot of runs, it looks like, in a lot of games. I saw one, you had 23 runs, a couple of 18-run games. So what's kind of been the consistency behind the bat?
Yeah, I think it is just at the consistency. We're guys, from pitch to pitch, they've been able to have quality at bats, and not necessarily just with the hits. It's a matter of different things, whether it's getting on base via a hit by pitch or a walk or an error, those type of things, and just being relentless once we do get that opportunity of focusing on what we can, and whether that's when we do get on base, whether that's base running or dirt ball reads or different things like that. I think that's been the exciting part, is we've had not only 1 or 2 hitters throughout the lineup, but it's been 1 through 9 that have been very good.
And I was going to talk about that too. From the top of the lineup to the bottom, everyone's doing their part in hitting the ball. So how fun is that for you as a coach to see the production from your offense?
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate goal as a coach, is you want your team playing the best throughout the end part of the year. And a good example is this past weekend during the game where we clinched a regular season championship. Logan Miller, our number 8 hitter, got on base 3 different times. Our top 5 hitters were 2 for 15, but our bottom 2 hitters were 4 for 8. So I think it is exciting to see that any time throughout the game, throughout the lineup, that we're going to have different guys step up. Now, if we can get those bottom of the order guys to get on base, we like our chances with the top of the order.
You have yet to lose back-to-back games this season, and you haven't lost this series. How have you really stayed tough mentally, knowing that baseball is a long season?
I think it's a multitude of a couple of things. Number one is our age. It's the veteran player that doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, so he's able to control his emotions throughout those games and those moments. And I think it speaks to our depth, where we have certainly pitching-wise some depth there. And even though we might have a bad inning or a bad game, we know that ultimately our depth's going to pay off.
And with 3 regular season games left, you guys have already clinched that NSIC conference title. How important is it just to kind of finish out the season on a high note, knowing that the NSIC postseason tournament is right around the corner?
Yeah, our goal is to win every game. So whether we've wrapped up the conference regular season last week or this week, ultimately we want to come out and try to play our best baseball. And at the same time, we're aiming for bigger goals. We'd love to host a regional tournament if we can. And right now, I think we're 3 in the ranking, so we'd like to move up a spot or 2, and that goal is still ahead of us. So being able to control our own destiny is something that we're in control of right now. But ultimately, these last 3 games, we had a chance to honor and celebrate our seniors, those guys that have been here and have done a lot for our program. So the last 3 days within that, there'll be a couple days where we can honor and celebrate our seniors as well.
Yeah. How is playing here, so fun for the fans to come out and watch you guys play, knowing you've done so well at home this season?
Yeah, I think it goes back to the first start of the fall in August when we've been here, and there's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on this field, and that pride, and not only the current players that we have on our field, but those alumni and just that tradition that we have, that every time we step on Boyer Field, we want to do what a lot of good players have done before us.
What's the energy kind of like in the dugout, doing so well this season, and just having a group of guys? Aiden mentioned how they're all so close-knit and tight. How fun is that just to be a part of a dugout like this? Yeah,
I think that's one thing I'm super proud of as a coach, is just seeing that chemistry that we have, and a goal of ours is to have fun coming out there and playing the game that we grew up playing, and that's one of our goals. And I think you see that throughout the game, whether we're winning or losing, we want to maintain our attitude and our effort and those type of things we've been able to do this year. And again, it's a culmination of our season, and next week's is final week, so a lot of different emotions going into the last couple of weeks here, but we ultimately do know that this weekend's going to be fun.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining me, Coach, and good luck this season. That's it for this week's edition of Maverick Insider. We'll see you guys next week.